The number you have dialed is not available at present. Please leave your message after the beep.
It's so absurd to me, things that you said that left a burn on me. I can't find my way without you. I can't find my way without you. Where do we go from here? Tiptoeing around, I guess it's playing by ear. Oh, what's so lucky at you? How you left, that shit felt so sincere. It's so absurd to me, things that you said left a burn on me. I can't find my way without you. I can't find my way without you. You're everywhere on my finger. You're everywhere on my finger. I like to think in another life we made it. I like to think about you and I when we met. Was it real for you? Real for you? Was it real for you? Real for you? 'Cause it was so real for me. So real for me. So real for me. In my dreams, babe. In my dreams, babe. In my dreams, babe. In my dreams, babe. Was it real for you? Real for you? Was it real for you? Real for you? 'Cause it was so real for me. 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 In my dreams, baby. In my dreams, baby. In my dreams, baby. In my dreams, baby. In my dreams,
Ringer, I hardly know her.
I think I need therapy, or just some more whiskey. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. I didn't know I was a casualty until you stopped my heart and you made me see I need you.
I don't know about you.
Yes.
I almost feel like the theme of this song fits what we're going to talk about tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I need therapy.
We all do. We all
Right.
saw horses die of sadness.
Are you talking about Artax? Stop!
I am.
Stop fucking talking about Artax. It's going to make me fucking cry again.
Yes.
We're still doing fantasy movies, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure because I told our guest that we were doing fantasy movies, and I was like, "Shit, are we still doing fantasy movies?"
We went through the Christmas really fast, faster than I ever expected.
Yeah, because you didn't want to do Christmas movies, so we
That's
just went
very
through.
true. When you watch bad Christmas movies, you get Christmas out really early.
Well, I mean, every Christmas movie is a bad Christmas movie to you.
It is.
Before I start the show, just looking at that. Say Wong, is that a wild graveyard? Yes, it is. It is. Frey saying, because we're still talking about the live action Bluey movie, right? So like Frey said, we were talking about Dave Bautista. She said, who would play Dave Bautista visiting Australia and he befriends Muffin? Because I was saying, Frey was saying, cast the entire Bluey movie with Muppets except for Dave Bautista. And they were saying, who would Dave Bautista play? I said, fucking Muffin. Come on, man.
Oh, no. What you need to do is you have Will Ferrell be the dad dressed as a dog and everyone else Muppets.
All right. I'm going to waste too much time with this thing. Remember, guys, if you are listening, watching right now, send us an email, distancenerding@aol.com, and tell us who should play the live action versions of the Bluey characters. Now, let's get the show started.
Distance nerding.
Hey! What's up, everybody? Well, we are here. It is time. It is that Thursday. It's time for the build.
Yes.
And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an amazing group of guests for you. I'm gonna pretty much finish the NASA discovery today.
Ooh.
Only 2 bags left, so I mean, I should be able to knock it out today.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a bracket for you in the second half of the show, but of course, in the first half, as always, we've got an amazing guest. But before we bring the guest onto the show, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about sponsors. So, the show, everything we do here, is brought to you by
Blue Chew. If you have problems,
Yeah, if you have problems with your I forgot to do one very important thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your boy, Young Phil. And to the side here, I see I'm disoriented. To my side here is the beard that has the small attachment of a man to it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Graveyard.
yes. And to answer Say Wong's question, because he's going to be asking me all night, yes, I did get my 2 in the box. I have not trapped any ghosts with them yet, unfortunately.
Oh, God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, like the stream if you like the content and help the algorithm think that we're better than we are. But ladies and gentlemen, Let's jump right into this again. Sponsors of the show, like Graveyard said, Blue Chew. Kidding. We are not sponsored by anybody that big.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I was going to say that was an unintentional bad joke. Ladies and gentlemen, we are brought to you by the wonderful and amazing people over at Dubby. That's right. Dubby is a brand of energy drinks created to help focus concentration reaction time with no jitters or crash. Dubby contains no maltodextrin, no sugar, no fillers, no artificial colors or dyes. Now, I know Graveyard asks every week, and I mean, by asks, I mean he doesn't at all, but you may be asking why Dubby? And it's because Dubby contains Neurofactor. Neurofactor is a neurotropic derived from the coffee fruit. Neurofactor helps give your brain focus and clarity, while the 150 milligrams of caffeine and 3 essential B vitamins help you stay alert and energized. Find out more about Dubby at www.dubby.gg. Use the code NERDING10 and get 10% off your order. It is delicious. I'm not drinking Dubby right now because I've had enough caffeine today, as you guys can tell. But
well, I appreciate you letting me know every Thursday because I can sleep better knowing everything about Dubby.
that's right. Knowing that you have enough caffeine in your system that you're not going to go and ruin heart palpitations. Never mind. I'm not going to continue this joke. I tell enough bad jokes on the show. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this. Let's do this intro because, ladies and gentlemen, our guests this week, well, the first one I'm going to talk about here is an award-winning producer, director, and writer working in the industry on major sets in various roles. In reality, here to tell us about her experience as an assistant to leave. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Sorry, I got the wrong notes here. Here to tell us about her award-winning indie film, Haunting of Hollywood, and the co-star of the film. Please welcome Lilia Doytchinova and Tiffany Downey. I'm on the wrong page. Tiffany Downey.
Hi, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you guys for having us over. That's so fun.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure to have you guys here, especially after watching this film, because we're gonna talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
How are you guys doing on this lovely evening?
Oh, going a little crazy because I'm not ready for Christmas.
I mean, are any of us?
Right.
No. Every year I say I'm going to be that person that plans ahead, and every year I fail.
Graveyard doesn't like Christmas, so it's like.
And it is snowing right now here in Chicago. So.
Oh, you guys in Chicago? Yeah, we're in LA.
Love Chicago.
And you know, it's fitting. As soon as we found out about your movie, when because you guys were one of the rare people that reached out to us. And we saw it was a horror movie. I was like, yep, nope, this is Graveyard all the way, because Graveyard is also a horror director, writer, and all that. So it's like, oh, yep, nope, we're doing this. No matter what, we're doing this.
Oh yeah.
No, that's dope. Yeah, we're happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's jump into this, right? Before we get into your story and before we learn more about the two of you, we have a segment on our show called Growing Up Geeky. What did you geek out on when you were kids?
Oh.
Some good questions already. You want to start?
Well, I did not have Barbie. I had Kit. And so that was one of my geeky things was playing with my Kit Barbie. And I grew up very modest household. So there must have been a sale on Ken because I had Ski Ken and Kit, but never Barbie. So that would be one of my early nerd out geek, like not cool. Because I mean, at least if you play with Barbie, you should be playing with Barbie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, boys at that time had their Barbie dolls too. They were just called GI Joes. So
yeah.
Yes. Maybe that's why my dad never let me have those either.
Those are Barbie dolls, boy.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think I had all the Spice Girls Barbie dolls. I was obsessed.
See, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. You're a girl kid, and you have like the pretty Barbies.
Yeah, I had all of them. I was so proud. I don't think anybody else had them, but I think I was a big Batman fan.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's your Batman?
Well, actually, it's the Joker, I think.
Oh, so which Joker? Heath?
Which Joker?
Yeah,
Maybe Heath.
it's all yeah,
Always gonna be
absolutely.
Batman has to be Christian Bale.
Okay. Okay. I have the hot take on Batman. So I mean,
Kevin Conroy.
But
Yes.
yeah,
well,
who's
no,
your Batman?
that's not much of a that is my number one. But for live action Batman, I'm a Ben Affleck guy.
Nice.
Okay.
But the reason I like Affleck, and I'm not going to get too much into this because I will go all night on this.
Yes, he will.
Ben Affleck, because being he's the only actor of all the actors who was already a fan of Batman, he had a, kind of a big thing on like I need to do justice to this character. He had a very nuanced Bruce Wayne, and his Batman in costume was very much the same exact attitude that you expect Batman to have. So he was a very comic accurate Batman, and regardless of the movies he was in, his portrayal of Batman was almost perfection.
Wow. Now I got to go back with that thought. I got to go back and watch it again because
Yeah.
I do like Ben Affleck.
Yeah. So let's move on to an even harder question because we have people
Okay.
skip people. They'll skip this question because it's like, God, this is too hard. If a movie was made about your life, who would play you and why?
Mine is Hillary Swank because she looks like me, or I look like her.
Nice.
It would just be, there'd be no other meaning, just like look alike.
So yeah, no, Karate Kid. We're going with the Karate Kid. Let's go.
Wow, that's a tough one. Who would play? Wait, so
I think we should cast each other. If you can't
Yeah.
cast yourself, let me think of
There you go.
I like that actually because we typically don't have two people on, so that's actually a good idea.
who do you think would play me?
Okay, I'm thinking. It's gonna be like multifaceted, international, sexy, exotic, adventurous,
Oh, she's loving it.
athletic. Geez, this is a lot of qualities. Like maybe you could be played by Superwoman, Gail.
Gal
Gadot.
Oh
Gadot.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll take that. Yeah, if she wants to. Or I like Alicia Vikander too.
Okay,
She's another.
I love
international-
her.
Yeah.
She's international. The only reason I would say no as the casting director is
Mhm.
because she's petite,
Okay.
and you have such a strong presence, and you
Oh,
are
well.
physically tall,
Yeah. Maybe Keira Knightley.
also petite.
She's kind of.
She
Like-
secretly wants to be petite.
I guess so.
Kira also, but Kira did have the athletic. She had the soccer movie, and but no, you're we need somebody for you. They have to have the physicality. Even Angelina Jolie could play you
Oof. That would be yeah. Wow.
because she has the badass side, the athletic side, stunts, all of that. Then she has the exotic beauty. Yeah. I'll cast Angelina Jolie as.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Doytchinova.
I appreciate that. Wow, I'm flattered. Okay, great. That would be a fantastic.
The chat agrees. The chat is agreeing that they can see Keira Knightley. So
Okay, cool. Nice. I don't know for you. I know Hillary Swank. That's a good.
Well, you guys
spot on.
don't. Yeah,
I
you guys don't
totally-
even know. There was a period
Yeah.
when she made the movie Boys Don't Cry,
Mhm.
and I happened to have a boyfriend who was really jealous, so he cut all my hair off, and I looked like Boys Don't Cry. So that's when everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're Hillary Swank."
Wow. I mean, she's fantastic.
She's
actress.
a
Yeah.
fantastic actress, and like it's 100% compliment. But the truth to it is
It's
that,
that
we
moment.
both, if you strip us down to our boyness, we're identical twins.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I can see that now.
Yeah.
If I
Nice.
look at it. Do you know who you look like? Kate
Mhm.
Beckinsale. I told
Oh,
you
I'll
that.
take that.
I
all
told you that, yes.
freaking day long.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Especially when you put your hair up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take Kate.
Yeah.
I gave you Angelina.
Yeah.
I'll
So
take
there
Kate.
you go. Nice.
Angelina Jolie and Kate Beckinsale
There we go.
winning.
And they're both, their assistants are like laughing their asses off right now. Like, in your dreams, sweethearts.
Hey, you never know. Dream big.
Okay, lay another one on us.
Absolutely. So this is for Lilia first. So how did you get into filmmaking? Like, what was your career path to get to, the haunting of Hollywood?
Oh boy. Well, speaking of true stories and real life stories, this is one of those. So I'm a USC graduate. So the dream has always been once I graduated, I got to make my first feature. So I lived here in LA. I'm not from LA, I'm from Bulgaria. But, I feel like when you're a foreigner, international, you live in a different city, you're that much more sensitive to the environment and that much more observant.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've soaked in so much of the city, and it just felt authentic that my first movie has to be something that, first of all, A, is feasible, B, I have access to, as far as locations and props and all that stuff. And three is something that feels authentic to me, and it's real. I've lived through it. I have friends and relatives and people next to me who are like experiencing the same thing. And then I discovered on top of that the real life story of Megan Twiso, who was a Broadway actress who committed suicide in the 30s. And that's how, honestly, the story was born. Just kind of like picked up all the stuff happening around me, and the story kept evolving as I brought in every actor. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
kind of like brought in more and more of them, and yeah, and now we have the Haunting of Hollywood.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. I mean, I can only imagine that, being from, let's say Chicago here and going to LA just seems too daunting of a task for myself. I'm a Midwestern boy. I don't think I could ever live outside the Midwest because the wind may hurt our face when it's cold out, but to go to California, I love California as a state, but I don't think I could live there.
Yeah, it's yeah.
That's how I felt when I moved to the South for a little bit. I just ended up moving back to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intense. It's definitely an intense city, and
Mhm.
and I think getting even more so, because
Yeah.
we keep getting more and more population density. So everybody's in
And
the
now we have the
cars,
homeless
everything.
pandemic,
Yeah,
and
there's a lot to navigate, let alone trying to get on your career path. You got to first just navigate the streets.
yeah, survive.
Yeah.
Just the basic survival first.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's an expensive city to survive in. Let me
Oh
just
yeah.
tell you, like,
Yeah.
I'm from San Francisco, so I mean, like, I get that.
yeah,
Okay.
It's like
yeah.
I understand that, but from a Northern California perspective. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy. With my job, I do IT work. They're like, so like I got a job offer like last week, like move to California. I'm just going, ah.
Yeah, you're gonna be
Phil
paying
wants me to.
triple, right?
Yeah, Phil wants me
wait,
to,
you had an
but
opportunity to move here and you didn't? The fuck?
talk to the wife and kids. All right.
Oh, I will. I'm going to.
All right. But for you, then Tiffany, for you, I mean, how did you get into acting? Was there any point in your life you go, like you watch a particular movie, you go, I want to do this as my career?
Yeah, like my path is varied because I knew from a really young age this is what I wanted to do. Like
Mhm.
I remember going and seeing some plays when I was really really young, and like I knew that's what I want to do, but I didn't know how.
Right.
And my parents, they had their own business and they were very involved in their own things, so they weren't really trying to steer us towards, figure out what we want to do, and like
Mhm.
kids today are very lucky when they have these parents getting them into classes and this and that. We didn't grow up in that environment. So um when I was in high school, I kind of figured out that I could go after a broadcast journalism degree, that was like at least in TV.
Right.
So that's kind of where I started. And then as soon as I was like in LA proper, I got asked to be an extra on a film set. And I was like, after the very first day of that, I was like, I'm quitting everything else. Like, this is where I belong.
And you're in Angelino, right? Like you're from
Yeah.
the greater LA area, right?
Yeah, and my path took me, I did live in other cities, so I had the opportunity to live in London, and I lived in
Right. You
Manhattan
did
in
Paris
New
for a
York.
while, right?
I'm sorry?
You did Paris for a
Paris.
while, yeah.
Yep, Paris.
We do our
So,
research.
yep. So I've
You
hit
guys are good. Yeah.
I've hit some of the major cities. I'm definitely a city girl. I like all the city amenities and the
Hmm.
vibrancy and the art and access to we've as you guys know because you're in both cities that you have a lot of this as well. I mean, Chicago has an incredible music, art, your
Hmm.
museums, like so when you grow up or live around that, that's very hard to live someplace where you don't have access
Right.
to our vintage movie theaters. And you guys have the Green Mill, my favorite mobster bar.
Hmm. Yeah, I can tell you, like when I get away from like a major interstate, I go, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And it's great if you need a zone out for like,
Hmm.
day, couple days, whatever. But like after a while, I just know I couldn't live in a place like that. I would start getting antsy.
Yeah, I mean that's how I felt when I was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't be here.
And that's how I
yeah.
felt too when I was in upstate New York. That's where I first came. At first, I was there, and I was like, I can't believe I'm here in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Another city girl.
Yeah, because I'm from the city of Sofia
Yeah,
in
right. Yeah.
Bulgaria, which is the
Hmm.
capital. So, but that, you know what? Because it was just so boring being there. It's like it almost like drove me to like get even more, you know, with my imagination and kind of create stuff in my head and dream about the time when I'll get here and do the stuff I want to do. So you know. But I think for me, my journey was like I was definitely my parents used to bring me as a little kid to theater plays and art galleries and just expose me to a lot of art. So from a young age, I was like I just developed this love for theater, and I remember I was just very curious about who put this together. It's like
Hmm.
yeah, I see the actors, I see everything. It's beautiful, it's amazing, but like where is this coming from, who is really organizing this, who is making this happen, and then I was like, well, what does that person do, the
Hmm.
director, because usually I don't know how is it. I don't know. I don't think that's a tradition here in the States, but in Europe, when you have a theater play, the actors do their, applause and everything. But then the director comes and
Hmm.
then, he gets the applause and everything. And I was like, what is I want to be like this guy, like
Right.
wow, like what is he doing, And I was just so impressed. And then when I was in a theater program and once got into USC, but I was like, and just that love transition into filmmaking. I was like, oh, but with films I can do that much more and involve the camera too, and just it was
Right.
just honestly a progressive discovery for me, and it still is. I feel like forever will be, anyways.
Yeah.
So
It's so interesting. I love that we saw the same thing. They
yeah,
were both moved. I'm like, I don't even know who's doing it. I just want to play. That looks fun.
yeah,
You're like, like I'm going
Right.
to organize all
yeah.
this.
It's like I want to put it together, and
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
And that
I
that's
was gonna say, Lily, that's a big deal because you went to USC film school, and that's like
mhm.
that's where you want to go if you're as well, at least if you want to study filmmaking. Not
Yes.
like anybody who's in the industry knows, like it's it's not necessarily that you want to go to film school; it's that you want to experience on the set, and that's
Mhm.
that you really get in. But you have the double, you have the studying filmmaking, but then also all of that experience on set because there's so much that you've done. Like I kind of made a joke at the top of the show about your experience as an assistant to Liev Schreiber. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what we're talking about. Like, but I mean, like you've done things like that. You've worked on some pretty massive sets.
Mhm.
So I mean, like the accolades of going to USC, but then also working on these sets, and then now being on an indie set, right, and creating your own film. What would you say is the biggest difference to you, aside from budget, obviously? But I mean, like the biggest difference to you from going from such major sets like the Expendables and and Chuck and things like that to a smaller indie set. Like, what is the biggest difference that you ran into?
Um, I think the biggest thing is that you, as a if you're in the role of the director, you're way more hands-on of all the
Hmm.
little things, you know. It's like you really, you know, when you're a big set, you're working with these production designers and everybody, you know, and you kind of, it's a lot of communication, collaboration. But then when you're in a smaller set, you actually become one of the production designers, you become one of the set decorators, you know. And there's so much beauty and fun and creativity in that, you know. And yes, the limit of budget, it just forces you to just kind of be more do it yourself, you know, just come up with more unique little stuff. Maybe use a tape, you know, and use like some weird stuff to make stuff happen and make it look cool, you know. While on the set, yeah, when you have your idea, then you have all these amazing professionals who can help you elevate the idea, even, you know. But on the indie set, it's like, okay, how do we all put our minds together to figure this out, you know?
Hmm.
So it's just more, it's more hard work, I feel like, on an indie set. I'm not saying anything else. Like, big sets are a lot of hard work, don't get me wrong, but it's just, it's different, you know. It's a different
Hmm.
kind of grinding, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
from smaller set.
Yeah, and for me, I've been on. I'm part of an indie horror team that we
Mhm.
work on. I've been with them about a year and a half now. But I in high school I did drama and theater for all 4 years, and I learned the writing, directing, state everything I can learn to do. I would learn to do it because now I'm able to get back into it and go, okay, what do we do to make this scene work? Do I sometimes for the last movie we did, I'm a stand-in for someone else, or I'm doing the special effects or whatever you need to do because it's such a close knit community in indie film.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that, you know.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
so fun. There's so much joy in that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just even to make a movie, it's a lot of work. A lot of people's talent has to go in there. Just to be able to make something is just immense work. And I
Right.
think people think it's just really easy until you get in there and do it yourself.
And to finish, I'm
Hmm.
always congratulating her on finishing because a lot of people actually start films
Hmm.
and they don't
Yeah,
finish.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and like I feel people don't really talk much about it. It's like, or just like the just the you know, the regular fan of movies, you know, they only care about the actors and the people who show up on the screen, but people don't, we don't talk about of enough of the work that goes into
Hmm.
behind it, you know. And like meeting, what about the rest of the crew, what about all the other extra and background actors and stand-ins, you know. It's like it's just so much that goes into making an hour and a half or 2 hours now. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's yeah, yeah.
That that's awesome. And I know your films have been a festival, but Tiffany, I know you also worked as an assistant program director at the DTLA Film Festival. So what was that like for you?
So I was really fortunate to get introduced to the festival founders,
Hmm.
and they are adapting the festival now, and they're going to be involving music and more education, and there's kind of a rebrand going on. So I think, you know, I'm so inspired and have so much respect for all of the people who've been in it and at this for a long time, because my career kind of, I started in front of the camera, I went in a lot of other directions. I co-own a recording studio. That was a weird tangent, like, but you're around so long that you realize that at the end of the day, Hollywood's a fairly small community,
Mhm.
and the people who last, and like this festival, I want to say 15-year history now, maybe even a little more. Like, to have staying power in Hollywood is a really commendable thing, and you have to have, you guys know because you've experienced it, but you have to live here and have done it to really understand and appreciate that it's it's not easy. We see on TV the 1%, you know,
Hmm.
Mhm.
and the red carpet glamour, and we see all of that, and that's just, you know, that's such a tiny fraction of what makes up this industry, because those people can't do what they do without, like Lilia is talking about, all the millions of people underneath them.
Yep.
And that's a big commitment. So yeah, so I have a lot of respect for Downtown LA Film Festival, soon to possibly be announced with a new name, but the same passion for supporting independent film.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And I was
Yeah.
just, it's funny because I actually have a joke that we do with most people who work in the film industry. I decided not to do this, but I might as well like just say it. Like I usually ask the question. So you've done multiple roles on film sets. What was your favorite role, and why was it being a PA? Everybody starts the PA. It's just kind of the way it works.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
No.
it's hopefully we're in a new renaissance with independent film, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conversation that I have a lot around the studio because the independent music artists are all kind of in a similar place. Really, all artists in Hollywood are trying to find kind of the new path, the new system, and um, I'm hopeful for more creativity and exploration and opportunity as we see kind of, you know, all of these things changing around us.
Yeah. And Phil's knows I've said this before and talked about a lot is working in indie horror, and there's especially indie horror in this country. There's a lot of animosity between some people, which makes no sense because I'm an advocate of indie supports indie. There's
Yeah,
no reason not to be the best person you can, because you never know who you're talking to, what they're going to do, and what you can do to help out too. Because it's just getting to know people in the industry. It's like, just be kind. It's not hard.
it's a small town.
Yeah.
It will, like, I was at a holiday event yesterday and everybody that I was with was talking about this particular musician who we had known 20 years ago, and
Mhm.
he was a horn player, like maybe like the third horn player, whatever, and he's now huge. And and so it's really fun and interesting. It's fun to see people's careers flourish, but it also is always a lesson. You never know where, so it's not even just about like the people you're with. You also never even know the smaller people where they're going, because you're looking down at them and 20 years later they're looking down on you. And I don't even mean that as a hierarchical thing. I just mean, you
Mhm.
know, it's, and that's why I go back to the staying power thing. If you stay in it long enough, you know, you will be bumping into the same people. And if you've had integrity and you've been a nice and a kind person, people will help you.
Yeah, and Phil can contest to this too. We like talking to anyone that makes art, that does something, because it, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're the colorer on a comic book. It doesn't matter if you're a production designer. You have a story to tell, and we think every story needs to be heard.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally support that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you were talking about like you never know who's going to be what. Like I immediately thought of Ludwig Göransson, who's like massive right now. The guy scoring everything, and he started off as like a secondhand hip hop composer, like not
Yeah.
an actual producer. He was somebody who's composing riffs on beats, and
Yeah.
now he's like one of the biggest composers in Hollywood. So it's like it's you do never know who is going to become what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Lily, with this movie, did you know about the story of this actress before you came here to the States, or something you kind of learned and you go, oh, this is really interesting, I want to tell like a modern take of it?
No, it's something that I learned when I got here. Something that I learned actually as I was researching on the Hollywood side.
Hmm.
Because honestly, it's like, so the first, my story started as I had my friends. Um, I wanted, like, at first, how I wanted to shoot it was actually wanted to go to completely Blair Witch, not even have a script, and just go with my my friends. And at the time, my one of my best friends, they were like this couple, and the guy wanted to propose to the girl. So I was like, oh my god, like, what if we like we do all of this and you propose to her, but we go in the woods and maybe even we take acid or something. I just started like this
Hmm.
wild idea. And then many friends, filmmakers were telling me, do not do it without a screenplay. You do need a screenplay. Like, don't even do that to you. Don't even think about it. I was like, okay, maybe an outline. So I was like, let me do an outline. And as I I started doing the outline, it's just like the story kind of like matured and progressed. And then I was like, oh, now I have this backstory of these characters. Now I want to add that. And then my mind honestly opened, obviously, to other stuff. And it's just like, it just evolved naturally, And I was like, okay, well, then let me research some stuff on the Hollywood sign. Let me see how did it even become the Hollywood sign, what
Hmm.
happened. And I learned a lot about it, learned about the Hollywood sign girl, Peggy Twiso, and actually I was um so touched by her story that I kind of read everything about her, all the stuff that she's been in, all the plays I read them. I'm very interested in pursuing that as a project to eventually, that's going to be a period piece, obviously completely different genre and kind of style, but just kind of very touched by by her story and, understood her depression. And I have a lot of actors friends who they're always down most of the time, unfortunately, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel it. I understand, and like I've been in that myself many times, in and out of depression as you're living in LA and or just having a big dream that it takes you a long time to make it happen. And, just all felt just naturally and just progress organically. And then as I said, I brought in people on this project that are all artists, dreamers, believers, and artists and everybody understood the story, felt touched, wanted to contribute. And yeah, and this is it.
Yeah, and I think that really shows because unfortunately, I think with horror movies, a lot of people assume that like they're one dimensional characters that you don't really need to build up their character because they're just, let's say, going to die by Michael Myers or whoever, that you don't have to build it up. But taking your movie that you have with different genres, with thriller and drama and horror, you're able to add a depth to the characters in a short amount of time, and
Yeah.
that's rare for horror movies. Let's face
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, honestly, it's like, yeah, like as I started more and more work on the screenplay, I was like, oh my god, this, and like I'm going so much more away from the horror and going more into the
Hmm.
drama. But then, I still wanted to stay true to the original idea of the Blair Witch and the horror. And
Hmm.
so it was just like a big, honestly, this movie has been a big experiment, like just a big experiment. I call it sometimes experimental horror, but
When I
we've had a
watched
lot
it,
of
I was
fun.
yeah. When
Yeah.
I watched it, it was too late for me to text Matt because I was gonna as I'm watching, I'm just like, oh, it's turning into a found footage film. Matt, 'cause
You were
Matt,
still messaging me at midnight my time last
yeah.
night.
Well, 'cause I figured you would wake up and send me a message, but I was like, I have to like say something because Matt makes found footage films,
Hmm.
so it's like, oh god, Matt, it's turning into found footage.
And you guys don't even know. I have the whole movie in found footage because the characters, James and Casey and Skylar, they're filming with
Hmm.
GoPros the whole time. So at one point we had a version where the movie was 80% found footage and
Okay.
20% the Alexa. So the movie went in post production into so many transformations. Then at one point we had like a 30-minute segment of found footage, and the movie was 2 hours and a half. We were like, there's no way. There's no way this can go. Like, we gotta figure it out. So from 30 minutes found footage, now it's like 5, 10 minutes. But
Hmm.
we went through so many different cuts. It's unbelievable. But I can still, from the footage that I have, I can still
Make that film.
cut that film. It will be a
Yeah.
completely different film, because
And that'd
there's
be
so much.
interesting to release it on digital media or physical media. That you have the movie, and then you have what could have been.
Yeah,
True that, yes.
I love
Um,
I love the change in the genre because it's kind of
Hmm.
like you have like this story that's going on and then it just shifts as far as the way the storytelling vehicle. And I was just I kind of love that. I love this like the change in the narrative because it's just it's different and I like that.
Yes, it's very different. Actually, for because I've been working on this, I've actually had a few editors to come and help me on. And the last one that I finished it with, he's actually a music video editor, a brilliant guy, super talented guy. So like when I brought him in to help me, because I was already working on this for a whole year, I had it 2 hours and a half. He came back to me with like a 60-minute movie, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's not even like a long feature, but he's a music video, so it's like everything has to be super quick.
Hmm.
So it was like, and then I redid the whole thing and added all the long eye contact scenes, and then it was just a lot of funny of how we brought both,
Together.
together
Hmm.
into what it is today. Yeah.
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 That's unfortunately what happened to Suicide Squad. Is the guy went
Yeah.
to a music video director and became what it became.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for Tiffany, with your character, I don't want to spoil it for anything, but were you guys able to collaborate? Would you bring anything of yourself into your character?
Oh, definitely. We got to collaborate in a couple different ways because we shot principal photography, which is the main footage, like she's
Hmm.
referencing the Alexa footage, and then that part of the shoot was done, and we were still kind of exploring the haunting element.
Yeah, we felt it wasn't enough. We
Yeah, it
weren't
wasn't.
done.
Yeah, so at that point, and again, this is where, like, the obstacles create new forms of creativity. So
Hmm.
we were able to build through the voiceover effects, which the film has a considerable amount of that, and we're aware of that, but that was the best tool we could use, and build more of that haunting kind of backstory. And so we collaborated on that a lot, just kind of piecing that together. So
Yeah, so it's almost like the movie has a second script after the shooting script,
Hmm.
because like me and Tiffany went back and we're like, oh my God, like there's so much more that we want to bring in from Olivia and the haunting element, and then we talked so much about her backstory and like what made her this way or that way, and
her desperation too, I think. We, again, without spoiling the film, but she's going to make some dramatic decisions, and I think we definitely needed to know more of her desperate state of mind.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I think we were able to build that up more.
yeah, and just really portray, like that actor who is so lured by that Hollywood dream that it just loses themselves into it,
Hmm.
and that was just critical to bring
Yeah.
with Olivia's character.
And the multi-generational impact that also, I think, it
Yeah.
becomes more clear because then we understand much more what's driving James.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny because the way James was directed and played the character, he already played it thinking or imagining the voiceover. So it's like
Okay.
before we actually even wrote the voiceover script, me and him, we already were talking that that's how he should play it anyways. So it just like honestly, it all kind of fell into place somehow organically. Things just kind of like worked out in its own way. But yeah, because many ways, at the first cut when we didn't have the voiceover, many people were like, well, why is he acting this way? He doesn't.
Hmm.
But I'm like, you guys don't get it yet. But he got it, she got it, so, and now
Yeah.
everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Talking about like changing stuff. I did a movie this year that we were going to do 4 or 5 days in May. Well, that happened, and then we don't have enough, so we got back together in July and did a couple more weekends, and then we got back together in August, and we're like, all right, we have to do these things, but we have to find actors. So the main actor couldn't be the serial killer in that part, so I ended up being the killer for him at my own house with my wife to kill just because we thought this was going to be our normal process, but it just took way more time than we ever expected.
And it was also the ultimate fantasy. You got to kill his wife.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She loves that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, isn't it how beautiful it is sometimes when the film speaks to you, and he's
Hmm.
always telling you like, I need more time and I need you to like look at me in a different way and take your time to think things through, because you're recreating life and recreating a whole world that needs so much layers,
Hmm.
and you just need the time to build those layers, and just that's how it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can tell from myself too. It's like, when do you call it done with the movie, right? When are you happy enough with the final product? Obviously, never.
Never's
But
yeah.
Never.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's never done. It's
Yeah.
never done.
I think in every art form, that's
Yeah.
kind of the
It's
case.
an
I think you
ongoing.
could
Yeah.
always go back and like, tweak.
And if you
Mhm,
tweak, then you can go in a whole different direction.
yeah,
Yeah.
And, I mean, you're always you are your worst critic. So I mean, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's never going to be finished.
Never
Yeah.
gonna be finished. And it's almost like the butterfly effect, right? It's like you change one little thing.
Everything that impacts
hmm.
everything. Yeah.
So how many days did you think Principal took for this?
14.
14.
14 days.
And then I would say another 6 for voiceover work.
Yeah, I said that's great for a good timeline for indie. It's just, like I said, you could do it forever, right? You could have too much footage you don't know what to do with.
Oh no, that was my agreement with my DP. It's like he was
Hmm.
like, I give you 2 weeks, period. So that was my agreement, with him, and I just really had to respect this, boundary. He's now a young dad, a young dad, and but he just went above and beyond for this project, and he gave everything he got. But that was it. We got 2 weeks, and that's why I remember, like on my last day with Tiffany, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad, and like I wish we can squeeze in 3 more days, but you
Hmm.
know, sometimes, it is what it is, but it's okay because then we went, me and her, on a whole different journey. So,
Yeah, and I think that's part of it is
yeah.
I think indie film in general is like it's that whole collaboration and like you're gonna be forced. I know even on big sets, they're always complaining about money too. Nobody ever feels like they have enough money to make a movie, even when James Cameron's got $1 billion. It's not enough because
No.
he wants to build a new planet off planet
Right.
and film
Yeah.
there. But I think definitely in the indie world, it's like you filming in your house. I was working on another friend's film and just the opening scene and when I showed up on the, set, it was, his best friend's house with the friends coming over to a party, not even knowing they're gonna be in a movie. And then everyone's kind of getting put in the scene and like, yeah, it's a dinner party. Like, here's your hot dog. Go stand in the kitchen. You're in the
Right.
background.
So
You're an extra in a film. What?
Yeah.
exactly, you have to, as long as you have enough release forms for people to sign, your gold.
And food.
And food. Yes.
Oh yeah,
Booze.
good food will make
food, and an
wonders.
NDA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, food, booze, and an NDA. Oh, it just solves everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we roll.
Yeah. Slice of pizza. Sometimes
Exactly.
that's all it takes.
Yeah.
No slice though. No more.
Exactly. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything for the Haunting of Hollywood, but we seem to, as an audience, seem to like the idea of the tragedies that exist in Hollywood, and this movie, I think, obviously talks about that too. Why do you think we are obsessed with seeing actors or something having these like bad things like Black Dahlia murders? We only know her because she was killed by the Black Dahlia, right?
Yes.
Because I think of the extremity,
I was thinking the same thing, the heightened
the
stakes.
heightened
Yeah.
stakes, exactly. From like, it's the ultimate dream, isn't it?
Yeah. I think and I mean it's the drama, right?
Hmm.
It's like the um I mean I admittedly am more drawn to all of the dark drama and more than the shiny, happy go lucky, everything's wonderful kind of
Hmm.
film. Although I will say I watched the Ted Lasso series, which I would have thought if someone explained that to me that it would not be of interest to me and was like, oh wow, okay, so like a feel good series can actually be good.
Ted Lasso is amazing.
It's it's amazing, but there's also a lot of pain. I mean, to be fair to that series, it's not just a feel good. It's layered in there brilliantly. Um, but I do think that maybe it's maybe because we're all feeling a lot of pain and not having a way to exercise it out of our system. So when we get to see somebody else's suffering, we somehow can maybe
It's like,
exercise some of that, you know.
absolutely. Yeah, I think so too. It's like it's
Yeah.
just like we all, I feel like we can all relate to it because I feel like deep down we all have these big fantasies or dreams of how we want our lives to be or how to go. And like the actor's dream and all of this is kind of just, giving the portrayal of that dream. But then when the tragic happens, it's like we've all been there in some way or another, and we get it and we know that pain and we relate to it, and then we get to re-experiencing it again, help us heal a little bit, help us like elevate a little bit and alleviate a little bit. And yeah, I think in a way, yeah, it's a good question.
Tiffany talked about you going to the darker side. Do you feel like you're able to help people express their emotions, be able to kind of get into your shoes as an actor?
Yeah, and I think that's what's really fascinating, because I think that really that's what we're all trying to do, is connect and find ways to connect. And so I feel like, my job is to try to bring the humanity to it. Not play it like a caricature, but bring the humanity so we can understand her desperation. She's not, the way she's behaving and acting in her world based on her experiences and her upbringing and all the tools she has to live her life with. This is the best she can do. And she's not a terrible person. This is where she's operating from. And I think that I really think there's power in exposing more of. I think that a lot of people have grown up with people like this, and it's all kind of like, shoved under the carpet and not dealt with. So I think these kinds of films give us an opportunity to bring this stuff up. And hopefully there are some people who are like, oh my God, that's my mom. Like, now I understand why, he's acting the way he's acting, because like that's how I felt. And
Yeah. And I think with this film too, is that you guys talk about and deal with mental health, right?
Yeah,
That's a big overlaying thing. And I think a lot of people say it, is we don't depict mental health a lot, as much as we should in any media.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why is that. I feel like we need to talk more about it, as mental health is just important as physical health, right? Because if you feel good, then you live good, if you don't feel good,
and
then you have problems.
I think really looking at the impact of again, going back into the concept of like multi-generational, it's really understanding the powerful impact that can have. Like, we have people in our lives, our parents, our guardians, whoever that principal person is who has the influence. And when we're young, that's everything. How they treat us and speak to us, what they expect of us. We're getting all those subtle clues, and then that's basically giving us our entire sense of self-worth. And I think, we as a society now, we're all really familiar with that term. We use it a lot. But I think it wasn't that long ago that it wasn't really like a common concept, like self-worth, like, shut up, kid, and do your chores.
That's exactly. I mean, because previous generations, it literally was that. Like, it's I was talking. I'm a veteran, so like there was a conversation I had with somebody recently about how generations before us, it was taboo to talk about mental health, to talk about PTSD, to talk about experiences and shared experiences, and the expectation was, well, you're a man, so you don't talk about it. But it's like now it's especially in the veterans community, we're very much advocates for talk about it. Nobody's going to understand you the way that we understand you, so talk to me about it. I will
Mhm.
talk to you because we have a shared experience, but you need to talk about it. You need in order to, because if you don't talk about it, if you don't resolve or try and fix, not really fix, but try and like ease the issues that you have, this is how you become, the cliche PTSD. I beat my wife
Yeah.
and my kids get the brunt of things. Like that's how that
Yeah.
happens, is because you have all these unresolved emotions and feelings and problems with your mental health, and it comes out destructively.
Yeah, and I don't know why it's almost there's like a shame of us being vulnerable, when it's like us being vulnerable is how we can really relate and people can really are attracted to that. They want to know, it's like when you're on this, but there's some kind of taboo of like, wall, a shame wall of like, oh, I can't be vulnerable, right? It's like I don't
Hmm.
want you to let you know really how I really feel or who I really am. It's very interesting. Actually, my grandma had was bipolar, and we all knew that, but we never talked about it, and
Hmm.
she had a severe bipolarity, where she was 2 days good and 3 days not good at all. And and then she passed away recently, but I remember my mom telling me on the phone, she was like, what, I wish we all talked about it. I wish we all actually helped her, because after she passed away, my mom was actually expressing and sharing, like, yes, she did have a mental health, and I wish it wasn't such a taboo. I wish we could have talked about it, and I wish there wasn't like a shame or shyness about it. But
Hmm.
Mhm.
it was very clear to me as the granddaughter. I always knew that my grandma is bipolar. It's just like we never talked about it in the family as like, oh yeah, the grand, she has
Right.
problem, we have to talk about it. It was just like that's her personality, and she's just very special, and she's
Mhm.
very sensitive. We are walking on eggshells around her, but we were like never really honest about it, like what it really is.
Yeah.
And actually, I actually also think now we talk about it. It's like I feel like Hollywood as an industry has bipolarity. This is an
Hmm.
industry with a mental health. And Olivia is like the symbol and representation of that. Because you have the super ups and the super downs. It's like one day you can hit the jackpot and be on top of the mountain and sign the contract and have this big production going on and everything, but then the next day I can go into ashes and you're nothing and nobody, and then you go back to making sandwiches at the deli, and that's how it is. And we in this industry, we have to learn how to regulate that and be okay with the day when you sign the contract, and be okay when the contract goes away and something is a challenge. It's like I feel like we need to learn how to navigate that and understand
Hmm.
that it's okay, and
Yeah.
learn that.
Well, and it is a really crazy industry. I think that like when you look back to the Hollywood system, when the studios were running a system, there was at least some stability in the fact that like you got a contract and then you show up, and it still is a lottery whether you're gonna move up the ranks and become like a lead actor. You might spend your entire career just always a chorus girl or whatever, but there
Right.
was like a system there. And um you know now the way everything works is it's literally like your life could change overnight.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think those extremes, are probably the swings are probably bigger now
Hmm.
because, you can have something go viral and like, and the
Be a
next thing you're a
superstar. Yeah.
superstar. I mean,
Right.
literally like hitting the lottery.
Yeah.
And so even more so, you have to have some kind of stability about how you're going about your pursuit. You need to somehow not be impacted by either of that and be kind of in
Hmm.
your lane doing what you do, or you will go crazy.
Yeah. And I think with especially in the independent world is that Hollywood, I would say the major people don't want to talk about these taboo things, but then you have people like what you guys are doing is showcasing the underside of Hollywood, because you only really do that from an independent side, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. It's like how Olivia is like building up to that agent from Hollywood who, she needs to send her self tape and waiting to be sent for that amazing project. He never calls, her conversation with him. We never really know if that's real or not, and that just happens so much now still with actors, just
Because they say for actors, it's like 90% of your job is learning rejection because it's not personal. You just didn't fit the role, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, and not just for actors, for filmmakers too, right? It's just like for everybody. It's just like your product is not the right fit for them or whatever. Your style is not the right fit. It's just like, yeah, and but that's why we're rising up as independent filmmakers, not waiting for anybody to give us the green light. We're making our own stuff, and I just hope that now there is a renaissance also with distribution, because now when we make our stuff, then the question is like, oh, how would people
And where does it
want,
go?
where does it go? And
Yep.
then now that the market is saturated, it's like, oh, why would you be better than the other 1,000 people, or 10,000, 100, So it's like, there's like, I hope now there's more, we see more opportunities for distribution and release as we go,
Right.
Yeah, that is a tricky thing to traverse
Yeah.
is finding that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I think this is why we're seeing the revival is what you guys are talking about, and these taboo subjects that shouldn't be taboo, and just doing it yourselves, because we're gonna have better stories come out of this, hands down.
Absolutely. Yes.
So I have to be incredibly rude, but I have a holiday dinner.
No,
No worries.
get going. So let's.
So-
We're actually going to start wrapping up here. I know you got to get going. That's fine. Actually, before you take off, can you? I normally do this at the end, but because you're leaving, can you tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, learn more about you, social medias, all that kind of stuff?
Yes, please follow me on Instagram. I'm at the Tiffany Downey, TIFFANYDOWNEY. And I also co-own Cherokee Studios, so you can also keep track on the other site, which is at Cherokee Studios. So we use Cherokee for our voiceovers. So the studio is involved in a lot of the audio aspects of the film as well. So it's kind of a partner.
Absolutely. Yes. And Haunting of Hollywood too.
Yes.
And follow
TikTok.
me on the hunt. Yeah. And then follow me on the Haunting of Hollywood on Instagram and TikTok as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good dinner.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much for the love and support. Really, truly, it's we just grow this community, but it means a lot.
Absolutely, and it's our pleasure. We enjoy supporting indie creators and indie films and everything in any way that we can.
Oh,
Love it.
absolutely.
I mean,
Okay.
one of my co-hosts is a creator, so I mean, why wouldn't we?
I'm gonna become the ghost of
Oh.
Haunting of Hollywood, and I'm gonna slip out. Yeah. Oops.
Oh, good. So Lilia, I'm actually going to get into the wrap-up questions here.
Okay.
Before we move on to the next the next segment of the show. But I'm going to ask you the hardest question you've ever been asked in your life. Are you ready for this?
Sure. Let's go.
All right. Given you're in LA,
Yes.
what is your favorite kind of taco?
Al Pastor.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. Leo's Tacos Trucks. Yes. On
Yes.
Yes. Boulevard. My
Oh.
spot.
Are you sure you're not Mexican? You're not one of us?
I might be. Honestly, 1/4. I might be. I love people in Mexico. Yeah, Mexico, everything. I mean, hey, I'm actually in Mexifornia, honestly.
Yeah. I dig it. I love it. I love it. No, I've said it in the past that there is a correct answer to this question, and it's Al Pastor.
He has said that a lot.
Yeah, but it's because Al Pastor, again, and again, I say this for everybody who listens on the show. You guys have all heard me say it. It's because Latinos, when we go to taco spots, our litmus test for everything is al pastor. If you make good al pastor, you make everything in that restaurant's going to be good.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Good to know. But yeah, just
Yeah.
so good. Oh my god.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So what's some advice you might have? Well, actually, and I think you might have just answered this. I'm just double checking. Given that you're in LA, what's your favorite taco spot?
Leo's Taco Trucks on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, okay, there you go. Dios Taco Turks. So you did say that.
Mhm.
So what's some advice you might have for anybody trying to get into the industry?
Don't do it. Just kidding.
It's also not the first time we've heard that. So
In the industry, well, honestly, if that's really your calling and that's really what your heart is telling you and that subconscious little voice in your head, do it. But just know that this is a journey. This is not a destination. This is a journey. And love the journey with all the good, the bad, and the ugly. And yeah, just be okay that there is bad in it as well, and give yourself time. Be kind to yourself, like be kind to yourself, because this is a very challenging industry. And wanting to get into it, first of all, amazing, you're a brave person, probably very smart and talented, but just be kind to yourself and know that it takes everything takes time, and every good thing really takes time. So be okay with that.
Yeah, love it.
no, that's good. All right, I'm going to ask you another hard question here. All right,
Yes.
who is scarier, Olivia Donovan or Margaret White, Carrie's mom from the Carrie movies? Now,
Leave it Donovan always.
no, in terms of their abusive relationships with their children.
Don't go near her when she's not in a good mood.
Follow up to that question: who's scarier, James Donovan or Dexter Morgan, in terms of keeping relations, or in terms of dark secrets and alternate intentions?
Of course, I want to say James Donovan. His mind is a scary place. And I know that for a fact. I know what's going on in the mind. So I know it's a scary place.
There you go.
All right. So what's next for you? What do you have any we had a question actually like lined up in the questionnaire, but we figured we'd ask that on here. I know there is an article that's saying that you're already working on your next film. You're also working on a series. What do you have going on that you can talk about that's not like spoiling or anything, or that's not under NDA or anything like that? But like, what's something that you can that you're working on, or like what's next for you?
Well, all of my projects right now in early stages of development of screenplay, and something that I learned the hardest from this project is that screenplay is probably the most important part of the movie making part. So I definitely this time want to give it enough time to make sure that as I go, there wouldn't be, you know, any going backs. I'm for sure solid. So, but something I can talk about is we definitely, we opened this TikTok channel for the Haunting of Hollywood and YouTube channel where we want to go more into the characters of James and Livia and just kind of hear more about their backstories or any kind of extra content, so we want to develop that as we go into distributing the movie, and as it's going to be accessible and available on platforms and streaming for people. So we just want to give that extra content and stuff for the fans and just movie fans in general to go along, and hopefully we can create that space where maybe other people can share their stories and just make the community bigger.
Amazing.
Mm,
I love all this. I love the immersion.
yeah.
Like the further creating of the character and everything like that. Just because these characters are very interesting, especially like the deeper you go into the movie, they are the psychological aspect of each character just gets deeper and deeper the further you get into the story. So I love that, and I love immersion into stories like that. So that's great. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. So one more time here, where can everybody follow you, learn more about you, all your pluggables, everything that you want to plug here?
So you definitely guys can follow us on Instagram. The movie page is called Haunting of Hollywood. Also on TikTok Haunting of Hollywood, on YouTube, Haunting of Hollywood, on X, H, um, Haunting of Hwood. Um, and for me, I'm Venus Light ENT from Venus Light Entertainment on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
coming on.
and on Spotify soon we're gonna release actually our music
Oh,
too.
music. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. We worked very hard on the music and the score, and we actually gonna have extra tracks that weren't released in the movie, but I'm absolutely obsessed with, and I definitely feel they deserve to be heard by people. So there's gonna be extra tracks on the playlist on Spotify, and actually some character songs as well that we've been working on. So yeah, more surprises. There's just more extra stuff that goes with the movie.
Awesome. That's great. That's going to be a fun thing to listen to too, because the music was
yes.
yeah. Yeah, I did enjoy the music.
hmm
So yeah, we're gonna jump into the bracket here. You're more than welcome to stay and hang out with us and give us all of your thoughts on what movie should move on.
Okay.
Part of these brackets here. I am going to give an update on the build. I just finished the shuttle, so let me pull it up here.
Yes.
So
Nice.
there is the NASA Shuttle Discovery. Retro rockets on the back. The cockpit actually comes off. You can see the inside.
There's only one chair in there.
There's 4 chairs inside of this one, though.
Okay.
So all that right there. I'm not going to do it right now, but basically, there is a way to take you take the solar panels off of the telescope, and the whole thing. It gives you like a step by step on how to put everything inside of here.
Wow. You build that yourself? This is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean it's a kit, so it's
Okay.
there's instructions.
Phil needs instructions.
Yeah, creative, but
Good job on following the instructions, because this is great.
creative, but only to a point. So let me switch. Switching cameras. Switching cameras.
He's so professional. He has multiple cameras.
Switching cameras, switching mics, all of that. I only have one chair though, so it's not like I'm getting up and going like, "Hey, just go to the next chair." I'm like, why am I so big? It's my fault. There we go. All right. All right. Well, let's get into this graveyard. It's your turn. You take over, man.
Yeah. So the recap from the past couple of times, we had this because we have such fun. The Spiderwood Chronicles beat out Bed Knobs and Broomsticks for being the better movie. Dungeons and Dragons beat out Chronicles of Narnia. The Labyrinth beat out If. The Lord of the Rings trilogy beat out Nanny McPhee, because no one's heard of Nanny McPhee, apparently.
I saw Nanny McPhee, man. It wasn't a better movie.
Highlander beat out Clash of the Titans.
Because there can only be one.
And The Never Ending Story beat out The Green Knight.
As it should.
Exactly.
I talked about it at the top of the show. Like, Artax, yes, made me cry.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you.
Yep, that's what I do. All right, so first up, we have in this bracket The Covenant, which was everyone's first introduction to Sebastian Stan, about the 4 witches that are like,
oh yeah.
Versus Time Bandits.
Are we including the series?
Did you watch the series?
I watched like the first episode, and I didn't finish watching it. I need to finish watching it because the first episode was actually.
I mean, we can absolutely.
Yeah. Well, because I think that adding the series adds to it, because I again recently rewatched the original movie. Fuck, that movie was weird, man. But I mean, like,
It's Terry Gilliam. What do you want?
I was gonna say it's Terry Gilliam. So I mean, like, okay, so we're saying The Covenant versus Time Bandits.
Yes.
We're already getting votes for Time Bandits.
Yes. I did see Covenant in theaters. My then girlfriend, now wife, made me go see it.
That
I
that
don't
needs
think
to
I
be
watched it.
yeah, there
Time
needs-
Bandits?
yeah, Time Bandits is great.
Where do you watch it on?
I watched it on Prime. I think it's on Prime right now. Yeah,
Because the show came out on Apple, I believe, right?
the show is on Apple TV. I'm side note. I need a separate episode of Pot Out at Night with you and your wife.
Because I talk about her a lot.
Because her movie taste, like it ranges the gamut, and I want to hear an episode of movies you forced her to watch, and then you say this movie was great. She's like, "You're fucking nuts."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I trust me. I've been trying to convince her with her friend to do their own podcast called Ugg Boots and Pumpkin Spice Lattes.
Oh, so basic white women.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So
Where are you gonna vote for, Phil?
I see one vote for Covenant right now, one vote for Time Bandits.
I'm going Time Bandits. It's just so you know.
I'm leaning Time Bandits.
I'm voting for Sebastian Stan.
Okay.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. The man is
Mhm.
fucking gorgeous, but
Mhm.
I'm pulling up the poster for it. Oh my god, look how young he was.
Yeah, so it's like 2008.
He is a baby in this.
Essentially a young James Holden from the Expanse TV show as well as the main character.
Yeah. To save
remember
the
his name.
future, they must battle their past.
Yeah.
Time Bandits. I'm going Time Bandits. Just looking at the cover art, I'm just like, oh god, I remember this movie.
Mhm.
Time Bandits for sure. I'll take Terry Gilliam and his weirdness over that.
Yeah. Covenant was, I think, critically panned, quite honestly.
Yeah,
I don't think it did very well, unfortunately. All right. Well, that being said, that we have then 4 for Time Bandits, 2 for Covenant. So Time Bandits does move on.
All right.
Now, I'm gonna hit people of our age and right in the childhood.
Oh, you ass.
The BFG, Big Friendly Giant,
Okay.
versus the Dark Crystal.
Oh, the Dark Crystal. I'm sorry, Dark Crystal all the way. Big Friendly Giant was a cute movie. I'll give him that. Right. But the Dark Crystal had just the right amount of kind of like a dark storyline with the feels from your childhood with just Jim Henson Muppets everywhere. So, I'm definitely going Dark Crystal.
What about you, Lilia? Have you seen either?
No, but now I feel like I need to go and watch them. I'm taking good notes.
They're both good. Big Friendly Giant's more recent. It was within the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, it was all computer animated, but I mean the book was from our childhood.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, because going off of the movie, the movie was within the last 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Crystal's from the 80s.
Well, except the TV show that came out a couple years ago,
which Netflix made a mistake by canceling that series.
They sure did.
Yes, so good, and they put so much work into that. I think that was like one of the first like bigger budget things they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you guys are so dumb for canceling that.
Yeah, so the Dark Crystal is essentially all puppets, but in like a fantasy world. So think like Lord of the Rings, but puppets.
Wow, trippy.
Yeah, it is very trippy. Like think the Muppets, but like it's more serious, and the storyline is amazing.
Yeah, I'd say adult, I don't say adult theme, but like
it's YA more than anything.
Yeah, it's about genocide.
It is.
Oh, wow. Dark.
Oh god, yeah. Jeff. Dark Crystal has every politician's role model, the vultures.
Yeah. It's essentially their Skeksis are giant, like bird-like creatures that are you learn that are killing halfling breed to like steal their essence.
Yeah.
There's only like one left in the world.
Yeah, the Skeksis were just you just see these giant vultures in robes. It's like they're so creepy, but it's so cool.
Yeah. And it was really great though, was when they did the TV show a couple of years ago that it was still all puppetry too.
Yeah. But it was like somehow bigger
Mm-hmm.
because like they filmed it on the volume, so it was like so much bigger than the old one, like the old show felt.
Yeah. All right. Well, the Dark Crystal moves on.
As it should.
Next up, we have the Conan the insert barbarian or destroyer, all of that. Including the new one that Jason Momoa did.
Yeah. I wasn't upset with that as far as like an origin story for Conan went, but it still was not as good as the originals. And I think the originals were I think the originals were good just because of how bad those were. So
versus the only shot 3 of the 5 Fantastic Beasts. Where to find them?
I didn't have a massive problem with Fantastic Beasts, besides that the second one was ridiculously boring by comparison to the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I think ultimately, and thank God you separated the Harry Potter franchise from that.
This is why I did it.
Yeah. I think I go with the Conan series. I think sorry, it's not the Conan series. It actually has a name because the books have a different name. It's Sword and Sorcery.
Because Red Sonja is part of it too.
Right. The name of the actual book series is Sword and Sorcery. So I'm going to go with the Sword and Sorcery series.
Lilia, what do you think?
I've only watched the first part.
A Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Do you see Jason Momoa's Conan the Barbarian?
I'm not a Jason Momoa's fan, which I'm probably the only female who's not.
I'm a fan of him personally because I've met him in person, and he's like the nicest dude. So,
yeah.
You go Fantastic Beasts then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think what everyone's issue, because my wife is a huge Harry Potter fan. Like I was there for the midnight release at Borders for the last book.
But it's because I was working.
Yeah. And I think people's biggest issue is that like they're used to the Wizarding World being in England.
Yeah.
And everyone in America is like, I want my invitation to Hogwarts. Like, bitch, you're not living in England. You're going to American schools.
Yeah. And I think part of the thing with Fantastic Beasts was because it does take place in the universe, it does take place in the United States. I think it didn't take place in the school, and it was more just like around what happened in the US, and it's more about the R's and kind of like Beastmasters and everything like that. It didn't catch on as much.
Well,
it was also something that people were asking for. Like people wanted, like, we want more of wizards outside of Hogwarts, and then they gave it to them, and people were like, we didn't want that. Like, what did you want? This is exactly what would happen. And it's awesome that it takes place in the 40s, man. Like, why is it not?
Yeah.
Well, it's because I really think the thing is that people that read Harry Potter as kids are now adults, but they still wanted kids school wizardry, not adult politics and war.
Yeah, I think actually if they would have went the route of, like, if it would have taken place in the early 2000s and it was Harry as an R and Hermione as as what did Hermione become? I don't remember what she becomes after when they get out.
I believe because she becomes the Minister of Magic. That's
right. She becomes Minister of Magic, and Ron is also works at the Ministry.
Yes.
Right. But I love the fact that Ginny and Harry become R's, and it's like, God, I want to see that. I want to see Ginny and Harry going after rogue wizards.
It's called The Cursed Child, and it's not canon.
I know. There's not that, but I mean, yeah. What was the name of the school? The American school.
There's a few of them. because there's America's a big place to have just one school for wizards,
Yeah. Ivermony.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't recall.
Ivermony, or Ivermorny is what it is. Ivermorny is the North American school of witchcraft and wizardry.
Mm-hmm. That all being said, Conan. Conan.
Yeah. I think there's one vote for Fantastic Beasts in there. Well, two if you count Lilia.
Yes. Yeah, I'm definitely going Conan.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I went sword and sorcery, so everything.
Yeah, another couple for Conan.
Oh, we lost Lilia.
Yeah, she froze there for a second, so
No,
she lost it. But yeah, there's more votes for Conan as well.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Pete's Dragon.
Ooh.
Versus the Hobbit trilogy.
So all three movies.
If you want to include the rotoscope Hobbit as well, you're more than welcome to. I wouldn't.
The which one?
The rotoscoped Hobbit movie.
Oh, the one from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually it's weird because like as much as I liked for parts, like I liked what they did with the live action ones. Is, I mean, it obviously dragged on too much and they extended things and added things that didn't need to be there, but it was more so because Warner Brothers wanted more money. The rotoscope one, the Rankin Bass. It was the Rankin Bass movie.
It's the one that eventually became one of those Japanese animated studios, the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the Rankin Bass movie, one, they took the songs from the book and turned them into actual songs. So they're the lyrics from the books and then turned into the songs.
Yeah. All the Pete's Dragon day long.
Yeah, no. And then it followed the story more, like it followed the book more. Obviously like Gollum's really weird in it. He's just like a little fat fish boy, but like, it's like a lot of things. Like Dark Crystal has, or not Dark Crystal, Black Cauldron also has like weird interpretations of characters from the books. But I don't know. There's an epicness to Peter Jackson's version. Now comparing that to Pete's Dragon. The original Pete's Dragon is one of those movies when I was a kid I had on VHS and I had it on repeat.
But you don't watch it anymore.
No, not anymore. But I mean, like as a kid, it was a big part of my childhood. The newer movie, I wasn't upset with it, but it didn't hit me as hard as the original one did.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going Hobbit.
I think I'm going Hobbit, and I think it's just because we do get that long, that kind of like more inverse backstory of Bilbo Baggins, and kind of like the extent of his cowardice, but then also him growing into his bravery. Yeah. There's a lot that a lot of people don't realize. There are a lot of subtleties within those movies of Bilbo Baggins that all harken back to the books. So I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, is it the best version of the Hobbit? No. But it really is a return to Middle Earth. I think we needed and wanted.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing. They added a whole bunch of stuff from the Lord of the Rings to the Hobbit movies in order to relate them to the Lord of the Rings movies.
You mean that Orlando Bloom, Legolas, was not in the Hobbit, even though he was alive?
Yes, and I think that's what they were trying to do. That's how they were trying to link it. Is both of the? I mean, they shoehorned in Legolas, and then the elf character
triangle.
I'm forgetting her name, but the elf girl that was was the other character in there. She was completely made up for the movie.
Yes,
she wasn't in the book at all.
The anti-vaxxer wasp.
Anti-vaxxer wasp.
Yes, she's Wasp from Ant-Man.
Yeah, yeah. She's an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah, she's insane.
Sounds fun.
But that being said, chat doesn't agree with us, and they're going Pete's Dragon. So
Oh, okay. Damn, really?
yeah.
Chat just kicked out The Hobbit of all movies.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, chat. What would we do without you?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have a lost father played by the most unknown Chris because he's in the DCU. A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh God.
Versus Sparkly Vampires.
Wrinkle in Time. I will never vote for that stupid ass fucking franchise.
What?
Yeah. No.
You don't want to also be a grown male and imprint on a newborn baby that you're going to marry one day?
No. I literally got halfway through the first movie and said, "What the fuck am I watching?"
Mm-hmm.
Could not finish it. I was like, "No, this is absolutely terrible."
The only way I watched the Twilight series, I don't even want to call it saga because it's not epic in any way, shape, or form, is through riff tracks. That's the only way I was able to get through it. And that's also the only way I was able to get through Batman v Superman.
That's funny.
And Batman v Superman was so bad that they had 3 separate teams of people to riff that entire movie.
Oh my
just
God.
because they couldn't get through all of it.
Yeah. No. Wrinkle in Time, but not just because it was a sleeper movie. It was one of those movies that did not get the justice it deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Ava DuVernay is fucking amazing as far as her directorial senses, which is like why I got excited when they said that she was going to be directing New Gods, and then that whole thing like disappeared. But I mean, like that would have been amazing to see her take on New Gods.
Mm-hmm. I read the books as a young child, and I was just immensely fascinated with the whole idea of the quantum mechanics of it all.
Yeah.
So I was really thoroughly enjoyed with reading it, but the movie didn't come anywhere close to the books, unfortunately. I'm still voting because fuck Sparkly Vampires.
Yeah, no, fuck Sparkly Vampires. As soon as you said Sparkly Vampire, you didn't have to say Twilight. I said, fuck that movie.
No, I didn't have to say the movie title at all. I think everyone agrees. So yeah,
everybody's saying Wrinkle in Time. I bet you like half the people in there are just like, we didn't even watch Wrinkle in Time, but fuck Twilight.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. Next up, we have Willow versus Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, that's a hard one. Okay, I have a lot of nostalgia with Willow, especially after rewatching the movie. I'm one of the few that actually enjoyed the series. I really like the series mainly because I don't remember his name, but like the Indian dude, he was the knight, right? Just his dry wit and dry sense of humor and sarcasm throughout the entire show just drove me, and I loved it. But like Willow has a really, really, soft spot in my heart. But Pan's Labyrinth is fucking perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, really on a fantasy and on the light horror elements that are in Pan's Labyrinth. It is a cinematic masterpiece, and I mean that's why everybody loves Benicio del Toro, is because of that kind of filmmaking. How many awards did he get for Pan's Labyrinth?
Benicio or Guillermo del Toro?
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, tons.
Yeah, he got
way too
fucking awards for that movie, man.
Oh yeah.
Just again, the writing, the storytelling, the visual effects,
cinematography is just
like everything about it is fucking beautiful.
And everyone agrees that Doug Jones's character is the creepiest non-horror character. That's horrific.
Yeah, he's the dude with eyes in his hands, right? I mean, like that's one of the most iconic scenes in that movie is the right. And I mean, Del Toro uses Doug Jones so much because he also played
The creature from Black Lagoon.
Black Lagoon, but he also played Abe Sapien, who was essentially the same character, right?
Oh, easily, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Abe Sapien was such a cool character, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna veer with the chat here. I'm going Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm going Pan's Labyrinth because I don't like Willow, and I never watched the show. So.
I actually really liked Willow. Again, I love the movie.
Mhm.
The show to me was actually really good. But ultimately, I think just because of the nature of what Pan's Labyrinth is, I think I go with Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah. No, even if like Willow, I think Pan's Labyrinth was going to win for me just because it's got that more supernatural, spooky element for
Yeah.
it. So, all right, next up, a man's name so bad you can't say it 3 times.
But you say it twice for his second movie.
Exactly.
Versus, which is on Max right now, and I haven't watched yet, so I need to watch it.
Yes. Versus Percy Jackson.
The movies.
The movies, yes.
Not the are we including the TV series?
We are.
Fuck. The TV series was fucking amazing. So good. Have you watched it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because my last year, my oldest read Percy Jackson for school, and then they started watching it, and so we had to watch the movies. We got the entire box set for all the Percy Jackson. They've gotten the other series that are related in that world, but
yeah. Movie wise, the first movie was okay. Second movie was terrible.
Yeah. But I think that was the movie that my daughter realized. I think we discussed it before. She realized that the book is better.
Yeah. Yeah. But Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the TV show, was fucking great.
Happened 3 times in chat.
Yeah, I know. Again, I always have to do this bit anytime we talk Beetlejuice. No, I'm gonna save that for later.
Exactly.
I haven't seen the second movie. The first movie obviously is one of the greatest comedies of all fucking time. I'm
definitely going Beetlejuice. There's no doubt in my mind.
I could go either way, but I guess I'll go Beetlejuice just because even if I said Percy Jackson, it doesn't matter.
That's true, but you can have your right. You can say your vote. Your vote matters, Phil. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah, that doesn't change a damn thing. Just because of the premise, because of fantasy world and everything like that, I'd want to go Percy Jackson just because I think again, given it is and the nature of what that show was, I'd probably say Percy Jackson and the Olympians is probably the better fantasy. Beetlejuice, fucking amazing movie. So we'll go Beetlejuice.
All right, so Beetlejuice moves on. Next up, we have Robin Williams and The Rock. What do they share in common?
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I know what franchise that is.
Yes. Versus Charlie Cox on a flying ship and Robert De Niro in drag. Stardust.
Was Charlie Cox in that movie?
Yes, he was the main guy.
Oh god, you know how often I watch movies and like I have to go back and watch it again and be like, I did not realize that was that person. You know, like there's so many times that I watch movies and I'm like, oh my god, that's so and so before they became famous, right? And stuff like that. Didn't realize Charlie Cox was in that movie at all.
He's Stardust.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because we bring that movie up all the time because friend of the show.
Good friend.
We've interviewed him like fucking 12 times. He might actually be like the most interviewed person that we've done on the con circuit.
Oh.
I gotta bring up our events, 2024 events. Was he at that one? No, he wasn't at that one. So the 2023 was Gem State right there because I know he was there. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. It was 2024. I'm gonna give you the name here in a second. I guarantee
Yes.
somebody's gonna get in the chat and be like, "It was Tim." Like, oh, shut up, Spencer Wilding. Spencer Wilding.
Okay.
Spencer Wilding was in Stardust.
Okay.
And actually, one of the questions that we ask him every time we interview him, just because it's a fun story that he tells, is were you expecting? And it's like we have no context to it, so we go right into it, right? So, how surprising was it? And were you expecting it when Robert De Niro walked out in drag? And he just starts laughing and he starts telling his story about Robert De Niro and how amazing of a person he is.
It's awesome.
Right? He's like, so first, he doesn't like anybody calling him Robert, right? His name is Bob when you're on set with him, right? He is insistent that you call him Bob. Right? And then it's actually like recently in years, people have called him Bob De Niro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you hear it on the interview circuits now, like, oh, Bob De Niro. But he was always Robert De Niro until recent. Yes, he's always, because he wants it to feel like a family environment on set, has always told people, my family calls me Bob, so call me Bob.
Except you call me Mr. De Niro.
You call me Mr. De Niro.
Exactly.
I got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? But no, I'm going Jumanji. So.
Yeah, I'm going Jumanji as well, solely
for the first movie. Yeah. I'm not upset with the second with the franchise that came later, mainly because I thought it was a cool concept to carry on. That it was a board game, but how do you relate that to kids in today's society? And you make it a retro video game.
I don't think kids know Atari well enough to have done Atari.
No, but I think because like the concept in the newer movies is,
I know
it's an old school video game console. Well, let's just plug it in. Why not? I mean, it's something that's different, and they get immersed into the world. So like
if they were smart, if this board game was smart, it'd be VR to get more people to play it.
Yeah, and that's almost the horror element of Jumanji.
Yeah. All right, so Jumanji moves on just because The Rock likes his jungles.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things The Rock likes.
Yes. All right, next up. Ooh, you ready for this one?
Never.
There's No Place Like Home.
Okay.
But
hold on. So we're saying every movie that's been.
We are.
Okay, so that includes Return to Oz. That includes Oz the Great and Powerful. That includes now Wicked. Okay.
And Michael Jackson's Oz.
That movie was fucking great. I'm sorry. Anybody who says The Wiz was bad you're fucking crazy.
Versus a psychotic killer related to Pennywise the Clown that gives children heroin to make the medicine go down.
I always forget you bring that up. Okay, so Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins versus. Oh God!
I also made it rhyme for you. Come on.
Yeah, you did. That was fucking great. Mary Poppins
versus the Wizard of Oz.
Versus the Wizard of Oz. Okay,
and so that includes all Mary Poppins.
Which there's only 2 movies.
In theory, yeah. Not now. If she's really related to Pennywise the Clown, that expands the thing wide open to.
Yeah, and that just opens it up because all the It movies and the upcoming Welcome to Derry is going to be involved in that.
We won't count it though because
it's not out yet. No. So core Mary Poppins movies, which would be the Mary Poppins and was it Mary Poppins? It's not Mary Poppins 2, is it? It's Return.
Mary Poppins Returns.
Mary Poppins Returns. So Mary Poppins and Mary Poppins Returns. Yeah.
What do you think?
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I think I lean Wizard of Oz.
I mean, I do too for only one of them.
for the Return to Oz.
Yes.
Yeah.
As much, well, no, sorry. As much I didn't like Oz, Great and Powerful, it was Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, so I also have to include that there too. I can tell you, it's not from The Wiz. It's not from the original. It's not from fucking Wicked.
I haven't seen Wicked yet, but I'm interested in watching it.
I am not.
Well, I know you're not. That's not your bag, man.
You know, so I voted for ones that aren't musicals.
I'm interested in it because of the story aspect of it. Like, I mean, I can look at the story without caring about the music, but I mean, like, again, Wicked is a part of that universe. But then Wizard of Oz, like all the different versions that have been done over the years of the Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz, which is one of the scariest fucking kids movies ever made.
Hell yeah, it is.
Again, Oz the Great and Powerful, because it is technically the origin story of how the wizard made it to Oz. Yeah, I go Wizard of Oz just because of how immersive the lore for that world is. You know, like you want to go into like fantasy worlds, like the fantasy lore of Mary Poppins is more is more fan theory than it is confirmed.
Oh yeah, the fan theories are far better than anything they can do.
Absolutely. Fan theory being that she's the same creature that Pennywise the Clown is. Only she collects her she collects the emotions differently than Pennywise does.
Yep. Oh yeah. I like I said, I love that fan theory just because it makes it, you know, more serial killer-ish. All right. Well, Oz is coming back. So moving forward with Wizard of Oz. All right. Last of our first round. Are you ready? Matilda.
Ooh.
And yes, that does include the musical one that had come out a couple years ago. Versus Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter. I'm sorry. I love Matilda. Again, we watched that movie incessantly recently because it became one of the night shows. Right? And Matilda is an amazing movie. It's great, right? But it's Harry Potter, man.
Ooh.
Oh, DeLong said fucking Jeff said Matilda.
Yeah.
Or Harry Potter. I'm sorry, the amount of nuance and the progressive story that Harry Potter has, because it goes from like the first movie being like a somewhat dark children's movie to by the time we get to fucking Deathly Hollows and everybody is just dying left and right and sacrificing themselves, and the Dark Lord is just murdering people like in broad daylight.
Yeah. I mean, there's almost as much death as in that movie as there's one chapter of, you know, Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, just like in relation to the franchise itself,
yes,
right? Like,
absolutely.
you're not expecting all that, you know. And again, every movie, the way it ties in, because it's all one overarching story, but it's just the way that everything kind of progresses, and you see him get older, and yeah, it just the choke.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. I mean, the choke in Matilda it's a pretty brutal scene, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the book, she does a hell of a lot more.
Oh yeah. She's got straight up like psychokinetic powers. So she's
Firestarter.
Yeah, basically.
You know, this household is a Harry Potter household.
I was gonna say, I think it comes down to you, man, because me and Tater said Potter.
Yeah.
Say Wong said Potter too, so that's 3.
Yeah. Harry Potter, it's for what it is, it's good. You know, am I excited by all the stupid rumor mills of everything that's happening with the TV show? No. but because people are already getting bitchy about who they cast as Snape.
Oh yeah, I don't care about any of that shit as long as the actor plays the character right. I don't care.
Well, the biggest problem is no one's ever going to be Alan Rickman.
No, at all. Nobody is
Ever.
going to be Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman was the perfect choice, and we will never have that again.
Well, and that's the thing. Like when everyone knows the story at this point in time. When he was Snape, he knew the ending. He knew Snape's ending.
Yeah.
While filming the stuff, because other books weren't out yet, and so he knew how it was all going to end.
Yeah.
I had the only hope I have for the TV show is it actually dives into everything that the book is there, right?
Right.
Do I agree with? Yeah, I've read the books. It only took me like a week to read all of them, but do I? Is it as friendly as it is in the movies? No. Does it have a whole subplot about house elves being slaves and the freeing of them by Hermione? Absolutely. And you get more into the ghosts. You learn about all the different house ghosts instead of just being little Easter eggs here and there. I think, and I fundamentally disagree with what Harry names his kids, because Dumbledore was a piece of shit.
He was.
He only made Harry live to be slaughtered like a pig.
Yeah. It's kind of sad when you look into the how much of a villain Dumbledore actually was.
He used Harry.
Yeah.
He actually did not give a flying crap about Harry Potter at all. He just had to stay alive.
Right.
So, but yet he still names his kid that, which I don't agree with, but whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that as far as Harry was concerned, Dumbledore was someone who influenced him massively. And it's like, yeah, for all of the wrong reasons that Dumbledore did the things he did, he also did set up Harry to win by like helping him with everything that he helped him with, and helping him along and teaching him the things he taught him. So I mean, like there's good and bad to everything, and when you look at Dumbledore and his intentions, right? Dumbledore made it seem like he cared about Harry when in reality he didn't. He had his own goals.
Well,
but
you find out that Snape was the one that actually cared about Harry.
Yeah, Snape was the person who cared the most about him. And Snape knew the kind of piece of shit that Albus was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the thing is like Snape also had his problems with Harry, because he loved Harry because of Lily, not because of anything else, right? Because he fucking hated his dad.
Yeah, but I think as the books go on, he's learned that Harry is good despite his dad being who he was, that he took on the right traits really from his mother.
Yeah.
Because James was a dickhole.
He had no influence from his parents at all.
No.
Like, I mean, if anything, he learned because his Aunt Petunia was fucking garbage.
Yes and no. In the book, she's a lot nicer to him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, and if I talk to my wife about it, she will start crying and saying that the Dursleys actually cared about Harry, and even they left out the big monumental scene with Harry saying goodbye, I'm going to die, to his family. And there's like big emotional scenes with it, and they just cut them out from the show. There's a much more deeper nuance, and the only reason why they treated him like shit is because he was a Horcrux.
Right. Well, I know that too, but I mean, like, the other thing that they brought up, I was reading this about it, like, was the reason that that he was hidden with the Dursleys was because combination of like the way they treated him, the emotions that were around the house, the smell, because that's I know that there was something in there in the book about how there was like a foul smell around their home at all times, and it made it so that the Dark Lord couldn't track him.
Right. It's like Haya Dagobah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, there was I remember there was a lot of it that the reason that that the Dursleys treated him the way they did and the way that he was there was partially because of the Horcrux, but also because it was the best way that they knew. It was the best way they knew to protect Harry.
Well, Sandra, they didn't know he was a Horcrux because the Muggles can't sense it, but people are affected by a Horcrux negatively. If you're engulfed with it, you're touching it for a short amount of time, you're very influenced by it. It's like the One Ring, but they lived with him for 11 years around something they couldn't explain. Why they had such a vile hatred of him is because he was a Horcrux.
He was a Horcrux.
Yeah. So
now remember, Harry wasn't intentionally a Horcrux because Voldemort didn't even realize he made him into a Horcrux, but it's because all of the elements that needed to happen to create a Horcrux all happened at that same time.
Yes. So, all right. Do you want to do two more? You've got a couple of minutes here.
Was that the last one of this round?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do two. We'll knock out the first two of the next round.
All right. So next up, we have the Spiderwick Chronicles versus Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons, even with that horrible first movie they made.
That's the best one.
No. Honor Amongst Thieves was fucking perfection. You didn't like that movie?
It's all right, but I need to know what the hell happens to Marlon Wayans. He needs to come back.
I hope in the second movie they bring him back.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's just an Easter egg in it or a cameo and it's not related to the first movie. Because he was the sole survivor of that first movie.
Yeah. Everyone's saying D&D. Wow, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, we're all a bunch of D&D nerds, so.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm not surprised. I was just waiting for Spiderwick to get knocked off. All right, the last one for tonight. The Lord of the Rings trilogy versus David Bowie's epic codpiece.
Oh God, no, the dick. the dick wins every time. No, Lord of the Rings, dude. But I mean, it's kind of like I don't want to say get rid of the codpiece because Labyrinth is fucking amazing. Now, is Labyrinth the sole movie that much more amazing than Lord of the Rings? No, Lord of the Rings is one of the most epic fantasy movies ever made. Return of the King and the Battle of Helm's Deep still goes down as one of the most epic battles in all cinematic history.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah. And then who can't immediately just love Ents destroying an entire orc village?
Wow, Taylor's saying Labyrinth.
You're fucking tripping, dude.
Not Pan's Labyrinth. The Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth. We're talking about David Bowie's dick and fucking gray sweats. That's what we're talking about right now.
We are. Versus Treebeard.
I'm bringing up fucking Treebeard because it's like, again, what is more epic than Ents destroying an entire orc village? It's like, and they flooded it. It's so dope watching fucking Treebeard just destroy everybody, man.
I'm definitely Lord of the Rings. I wonder if they're going to change their vote to The Labyrinth versus Lord of the Rings. We'll have to see. But no, I mean, Lord of the Rings is, in my mind, one of the most perfect trilogies of all time.
It is. It is. And I mean, there's not very many trilogies that you can say are on that list. I mean, I know right off the top of my head, there's one that Graveyard would say is the worst trilogy, even though I would say is up there with one of the best trilogies. Jeff Labyrinth until they let Kevin Smith remake the ending of Lord of the Rings.
Ah, yes.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
So Sandra, are you sticking with
Made it Back to the Future is the shit. All right, fuck off.
Oh wow.
So many people said Labyrinth.
It's
Oh my
tied God. It's tied right now.
Are they trying to fucking Darth Maul me right now?
They might be. It's tied 3-3.
What you guys are really saying Labyrinth. I get it. It's David Bowie. It is a good movie. But you're saying that Labyrinth is better than Lord of the Rings. Arguably, or maybe not even arguably, is the best fantasy franchise to ever come out.
Yeah.
The only thing that comes close is Song of Fire and Ice, and I don't even think that's on this list.
There's no movies.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not on this list.
Yeah. Wow. In the words of Dante, it's 3 movies about people walking. Yeah. And Back to the Future is about a woman trying to bang her son from the future.
True. It's true. Oh my
we
God.
may have that. This is interesting. We're tied, and we may have to take this to the post.
We might have to. I may have to put this in the Nerdington post. We may have to hold off on the answer until next week.
Yeah.
So guys, we're gonna post this in the Nerdington post. I'm probably gonna post it on Instagram as well. Put in your votes.
Mm-hmm.
And we was Chris Chipperson in the last second. Now kind of now, but I'm still not quite sure. Oh my God, you guys are killing me right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check Instagram. Let me see if because I don't think there was anything. No, I don't see any nobody's voting on Instagram.
Because I'm shocked. That's this
I
close.
am too.
I'd
ask Jackie, but I don't think she's seen either of them.
Yeah, we'll do this. This is a good place to end it with a to be continued question mark.
Yeah. Oh, say Wong, wow, a standstill. I think this is the first time in build history we've had a standstill.
Not like this. This is insane. I am shocked, chat. You surprise me every week.
Yeah. Chat, you guys. I don't know how to feel right now.
Mm-hmm. Aroused?
No. This is almost right now, almost as disappointing as Darth Maul.
It's amazing. I said I love chat.
I love everybody. I love everybody in the chat, but I mean,
oh yeah.
Again, that is I really don't know how I feel about that about you guys almost voting Labyrinth over
Bad Batch versus Andor.
Yeah. Said, look, like I said, I have treats for you, Phil. That's fine. That's not gonna make me feel any better if you guys vote out fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, to the Labyrinth.
Chris Chipper said, I bet if Legolas showed his bulge, they'd be ahead.
Exactly.
It's true. If Orlando Bloom was showing his bulge, I'm sure everybody'd be like, nope, that bulge wins.
Yep. All right. Let's end it there. Let's take it to the post.
I'm gonna post it in the Nerdington post. You guys put your votes there. Find that nothing. I'm not gonna eat any of it. Thank you.
Hidden pickles.
Hidden pickles. Fuck. Fuck. Had to do the Roy Kent.
Yes, you did.
Fuck. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. Graveyard, please give everybody your pluggable, sir.
Yes, I am Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod Out at Night, Mostly podcast.
They mostly
pod
at night. Mostly.
when you're done with the show, go over to Spotify and listen to the newest episode that just dropped a
Right
couple hours
before the
ago.
fucking show went on or went online, because I literally, as I'm writing the interview, I get a notification like, well, I can't listen to that right now.
I mean, could.
I could, but
So follow us on all social media, Pilot Night. Check out the new stuff that we have coming up for end of the year wrap up. The first episode of January, we're going to have another special guest on the podcast as well. And we're going to hear our guy who gets paid to critique movies, his top 5 and bottom 5 horror movies of 2024. And we have a special episode of Conversations Void on Saturday, just because, well, we're not doing it on Christmas. Sorry. So
I know, right?
And tomorrow night, over at the Kyber Cave itself, hopefully, a young Phil and a James appear for our Kyber Cave Christmas party. We'll be drinking and playing games. So stay tuned for that as well.
Awesome. I was checking the email that Jeff sent.
Did we get shit titles yet?
We haven't got shit titles. We got the bluey one that we asked for on Tuesday.
Ooh.
So we asked on Tuesday, we said by the Christmas episode, which we're doing on the 26th, we want emails of people casting a live action bluey movie. Right. And the DeLongs sent us their entire thing. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Jeff. I mean, we may have mentioned it. So Jeff said that at the end of the Bluey email, the live action Bluey casting, which I'm gonna save for the Thursday episode. Jeff says he made the best title for a poop movie, and it was in the chat.
Okay.
I mean, we may have read it when we were.
Oh, we easily read it.
Yeah,
we easily read it.
Right. We'd have to go back and pull that. We were just hoping people were going to send us new ones or like send us in the email so we could like read off like, hey, here are all the ones.
Did you check your mail? I left a little shit in
it. Hey, there's a turd in your mailbox.
Exactly.
Now at this point, I'm halfway expecting somebody to just send me a fucking poop emoji.
There you go.
Yeah, she said I called it the best. So yes, we did recognize it.
Awesome.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm fucking stalling because I I didn't have my script open. But ladies and gentlemen, you can find us on all the social media places. If it's social media, we exist and we're there. It's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's never going to be X, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Discord. We are now on Blue Sky. So follow us on Blue Sky, MySpace, Vine, GeoCities, Friendster, Second Life, AIM, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle, OnlyFans. It's only pictures of Aaron Watson's feet and Mandels, the beard, Jamez's glasses, just on the table, judging you, and of course, everything that Shadu does for money, which is mostly just 3-penny operas. So
and apparently getting stomach bugs,
Yeah, apparently getting a stomach bug. Did you see the response I put in the chat when he said, I got a stomach bug right now? I was like, what did you eat in Arkansas? Was it roadkill?
I asked him if it was worth the 10 cents.
But yes, of course, ladies and gentlemen, all the social media places at Distance Nerding. And of course, if you'd like this to break up with your girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, pet, schoolyard bully, annoying neighbor, or just tell us how much you enjoy us, hate us, or wish the internet would consume us completely and spit us out at the feet of
fucking Treebeard.
Fucking Treebeard. Yes. Of just a fucking group of ents, right? But fucking Treebeard. Yes. That is amazing. Then you can send us an email at everybody's favorite place in the world. It's our favorite place. But at Dist, that's actually fucking great, man. I'm sitting here trying to think, like, what do we want to spit us out in front of? And what better to be spat out in front of than the god of the trees himself, Treebeard, the Ent.
Yeah. Can't believe Sometimes our chat makes it feel like they dug themselves out of the ground, were born yesterday, and just got painted by Sauron himself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know what's funny is the amount of people who are going with Labyrinth. Like I didn't just fucking before the game streams ended. Like I didn't just finish the 2 Lord of the Rings games.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. like, come on, man. Yeah. Fucking Sauron is disappointed with you, and he is going to White Wizard you off the fucking planet.
Yes, the Eagles can't save you.
The Eagles cannot save you. Oh God, I hope Celebrimbor kills everybody. It's nerding at AOL.com, and we will read it live on air. Matter of fact, I will have you send us something good that's Lord of the Rings related. I will read it in my shitty Celebrimbor voice.
Ooh.
Remember, like every time I would read his name, I had to Celebrimbor.
Exactly.
My name is Celebrimbor. I will read the email in my shitty Celebrimbor voice.
Yes.
Send us something related to Lord of the Rings. It has to be original. Can't be just like a fucking excerpt from the book or from fucking Silmarillion or something like that.
Or from Kevin Smith himself.
Oh yes. Yes. If you can get something Lord of the Rings related from Kevin Smith and email to us, I will read it in my shitty Celebrimbor voice.
Yes.
And of course, peppered in there, I'm just gonna go Celebrimbor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe that'll help me just like shit out a ring of power or something.
That's what I call mine.
Yeah,
the ring of power.
My asshole is my ring of power. I call mine Mount Doom, but I mean it's fun. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us tonight. God, we're so fucking stupid. That is it from us tonight. It is time for the dance party, ladies and gentlemen. We will see everybody tomorrow. Grave, you on tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, so we will see everybody tomorrow. Motoki Tomatsu, the creator of the Kiva comic book. So again, he's rescheduled from earlier last month. But the idea behind this book, did I send it to you, Graveyard?
I don't think so. I'll have to check.
I may have emailed it to you, but the premise of the book is it is post-apocalyptic world, but from the perspective of dogs.
Ooh.
And it's not like a world of dogs and people don't exist. No, people exist. It is the perspective of the dogs.
Interesting.
Pretty cool concept. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So guys, we will see you all tomorrow for the 1 hour version of the build. I need to figure out what I'm building next.
Just do a House of Cards.
House of Cards. Yeah, I know, right? No, I'm probably actually going to do Optimus Prime.
I was going to say, do you have anything Lord of the Rings you can build?
I don't.
Damn it.
I wish, because that is way too expensive. It's a fucking $500 kit.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what well, there's 2 of them, but did you see like what they just released? Sauron's Tower.
Oh.
Yeah. So they have Sauron's Tower with the Eye of Sauron on it. Right. But then also they came last year they came out with Rivendell.
Ooh.
So they have like the entire city of Rivendell.
Or what you do is you'll just make your own with your own Legos and do David Bowie's Bulge.
Exactly. I'm just gonna do a Lego David Bowie's Bulge. Actually, no, DeLong just reminded me I do have another kit that before I get into the rebuilds, because I'm gonna be rebuilding because the company that is gonna buy my Legos back, they'll give me more money if they're pre-built.
Oh.
Yeah. So makes more sense for me to do that. But no, that's right. The DeLong family got me a Dancing Groot, so we're gonna be building Dancing Groot starting tomorrow.
Oh, just in time for season 3 of What If.
I know, right? Oh my God, that's actually it's actually very salient. Have a great night, you guys. It was reminding me of the Babe. What Babe?
The pig?
No. Oh my God. Labyrinth, the song.
Okay.
Right. You remind me of the Babe. What Babe? The Babe with power. What power? The power of magic. Oh, the power of hoodoo, voodoo. You remind me of the babe. It's the song that fucking David Bowie sings, man.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. We will see everybody tomorrow on The Build. Until then, remember, keep nerding together. See you guys later.
Distance nerding.
Princess Leia, her sexiest.
Oh, yeah. With a thermal detonator!
Exactly. Look, it's Willow, but in leprechaun form.
Willow! That's right, he did fucking play the leprechaun.
Yeah, he did.
There once was a man from Akash who had balls made of fine brass. In stormy weather, his balls cracked together and sparks flew out of his ass. To this day, my favorite limerick, and it's from the leprechaun.
Exactly. Pirate pool.
Pirate's life for me. Yarr.
He's just there for the booty.
We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Bye.